One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Kesey. Summary: One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a novel by Kesey, published in 1962, set in a psychiatric hospital and narrated by Chief Bromden, a long-term patient who pretends to be deaf and mute. The novel follows Randall Patrick McMurphy, a rebellious new patient who challenges the oppressive rules enforced by Nurse Ratched, the authoritarian head nurse. Through McMurphy's resistance, Kesey explores themes of individualism, freedom, and the effects of institutional control, illustrating the struggles between personal autonomy and authoritarianism. Plot summary. 1. Introduction to the ward and Nurse Ratched's control. The story takes place in a psychiatric ward where Nurse Ratched, known as the Big Nurse, exerts strict control over the patients. She enforces obedience through intimidation and manipulation, fostering an atmosphere of fear and submission. The ward is highly regimented, and any resistance from the patients is met with punishment, often through electroshock therapy or, in extreme cases, lobotomy. Chief Bromden, a half-Native American man and the story's narrator, is deeply aware of Nurse Ratched's authority and refers to her methods as part of a combine, a mechanized system that represses individuality. 2. Arrival of Randall P. McMurphy and challenging authority. McMurphy, a boisterous, gambling-loving con man, is transferred to the ward from a prison farm, where he was sent for fighting and other offenses. He immediately stands out, openly defying Nurse Ratched's authority and attempting to disrupt the strict routines of the ward. McMurphy bets the other patients that he can get the better of Nurse Ratched, igniting a power struggle between them. He introduces the patients to concepts of fun and freedom, playing cards, organizing impromptu games, and encouraging them to challenge the rules. 3. Empowering the patients and group therapy sessions. McMurphy's rebellious spirit begins to empower the other patients, many of whom have chosen to stay in the ward voluntarily, feeling unprepared to live outside. He persuades them to ask for things they never dared request, like watching a baseball game on television or going on a fishing trip. In group therapy sessions led by Nurse Ratched, McMurphy refuses to engage with her manipulative tactics, inspiring the patients to assert themselves and become aware of their own worth and potential beyond the confines of the institution. 4. The fishing trip and growing camaraderie. McMurphy organizes an unauthorized fishing trip for the patients, which serves as a turning point for many of them. For the first time, they experience a sense of freedom and dignity, gaining confidence in themselves outside the ward. Chief Bromden, who has been deeply affected by the fishing trip, reveals to McMurphy that he is not actually deaf or mute. The bond between McMurphy and the patients grows, and Chief Bromden begins to see the possibility of reclaiming his autonomy. 5. The escalating power struggle and McMurphy's sacrifice. Nurse Ratched retaliates by increasing her psychological control and eventually subjects McMurphy to electroshock therapy, attempting to break his spirit. Despite the punishment, McMurphy refuses to conform, becoming a symbol of resistance and hope for the other patients. Eventually, Nurse Ratched allows McMurphy one final outing, where he brings in prostitutes and alcohol for a wild party on the ward. The night ends in chaos, and when Billy Bibbett, a shy, stuttering patient, is discovered by Nurse Ratched after spending the night with one of the women, he tragically takes his own life in shame. McMurphy, enraged by Nurse Ratched's cruelty toward Billy, physically attacks her, attempting to strangle her in a desperate act of rebellion. In response, Nurse Ratched orders a lobotomy for McMurphy, effectively destroying his personality. McMurphy returns to the ward in a vegetative state, a shell of his former self. 6. Chief Bromden's escape and the symbol of freedom. Chief Bromden, who has regained his strength and self-worth, sees McMurphy's sacrifice as a final act of liberation. To prevent McMurphy from living in such a reduced state, Bromden smothers him out of mercy, ensuring that McMurphy's legacy remains unbroken. Chief Bromden then escapes by breaking through a window, symbolizing his ultimate liberation from the institution. Inspired by McMurphy's defiance, Bromden chooses to face the world beyond the hospital walls, reclaiming his autonomy and freedom. Key themes. 1. Individuality versus authority. The novel examines the conflict between individuality and institutional control. McMurphy's rebelliousness represents the human desire for autonomy and freedom, while Nurse Ratched symbolizes oppressive authority and the dehumanizing effects of institutions that enforce conformity. 2. The power of friendship and solidarity. McMurphy's influence on the patients reveals the transformative power of friendship, respect, and solidarity. His efforts to unite and empower the patients help them rediscover their identities, highlighting the importance of interpersonal support in resisting oppression. 3. Mental illness and society. The novel explores societal attitudes toward mental illness and the ways institutions marginalize and dehumanize individuals deemed unfit for normal society. It questions whether the institution exists to cure or to control, suggesting that societal pressures often exacerbate, rather than heal, mental health issues. 4. Sacrifice and freedom. McMurphy's ultimate sacrifice underscores the novel's message about the cost of freedom. Though he loses his life to Nurse Ratched's authority, his influence liberates Bromden and instills a sense of dignity and courage in the other patients, revealing that true freedom often requires selflessness and resilience. Conclusion. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey is a powerful critique of institutional control and a tribute to the enduring human spirit. Through McMurphy's rebellion and sacrifice, Kesey illustrates the resilience of individuality in the face of authoritarianism and the importance of solidarity in overcoming oppression. Chief Bromden's escape and the lasting impact of McMurphy's legacy reflect the novel's hopeful message about the possibility of liberation and self-discovery, making it an enduring story of resistance and human dignity.